Hi, everyone. Welcome to this interview by Core Recruitment. Thank you very much for joining us today. Core Recruitment is an international recruitment consultancy. We specialize in mid to senior level roles for hospitality, leisure, retail, and other associated sectors. Now, we're running an interview series looking at trends for 2025 and basically to help businesses because we think it's going to be a reasonably challenging year. So we've got a great plethora of different individuals from a variety of sectors that we work across who are going to be sharing their insight, experience, and all of that side of things. And we're really lucky today to be joined by Beth. Hi, Beth. How are you?
Hi there. Really good. Thank you. Yourself?
Yes, very good indeed. For
Good.
those that don't know the joy that is the Dorchester Academy, can you please explain a little bit about your journey,
Of
first of all, but
course.
also what you guys do, because it is incredible.
Sure. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you to say. So, my journey, I started within hospitality far too many years ago. It's definitely over 30 now, and I've worked with some of the most wonderful luxury hotels in both the UK and Europe, and as well as working in some hospitality related sectors that are a bit more on the periphery, shall we say.
Excellent.
And about 9 years ago, I joined Dorchester Collection as the Area Director of Human Resources, looking after our three fabulous UK hotels. So that's the Dorchester, 45 Park Lane, and Kelworth Park. And at that point, my boss, the wonderful Eugenio Piri, contacted me and said, Beth, I noticed that we're getting quite a number of inquiries from other businesses, presidents of industry, heads of all manner of different types of business who are enjoying the experiences of our hotels and actually want us to do some training for them. Can you help? So that's how that journey started. And then it morphed into, Beth, can you please create an academy? So I was very fortunate to be given a blank sheet of paper and asked to set up Dorchester Collection Academy. And contrary to what many people think it is, we actually operate in two parts. So we look after all the learning and development for our wonderful 4,000 plus employees across Dorchester Collection, including the recently opened Lana Hotel in Dubai. I think you've been
Which
there
is
now, have
incredible.
you?
I've been twice, and it
Oh, there
is,
we go.
and as well as being absolutely stunning in terms of the location and everything as well, the service is incredible. So yeah, it's very good.
That's so good to hear. I'm absolutely delighted. And so the other part of our business is that we are a commercial business providing learning and development for other luxury and premium brands. And now to date, we've worked with over 40 different businesses. Many of those businesses keep coming back to us, but it's very much a refer a friend approach. So when people have had a great experience with us as the academy, then they tend to tell their contacts and their connections. And we've worked across about 12 different business sectors, which is also really an absolute joy. So we work with everything from luxury cars and the automotive industry, including the two-wheel variety, right the way through to luxury retail. We're very much embedded in luxury healthcare. So that's across a huge range of healthcare. And then the other side is, yes, we do the odd little bit of work actually in hospitality as well, where we will work with small independent hotels. So we are about to embark on a wonderful opportunity out in Tuscany in Italy. So we also work across the globe. And then I should also, I should also
No,
mention that we're very privileged that we're actually able to provide training in people's private homes. So not only do we see them in their own environments when they come to us and stay in our hotels, but actually we see them in their homes. So we get to know really what it is to be in their world. And it's absolutely fascinating. And we absolutely adore what we do. And we feel very privileged and fortunate to be doing what we're doing.
excellent. I'm going to mix up the questions just ever so slightly
Sure.
in terms of but I mean, obviously the market segment that you operate in is high end. The customer expectation level is obviously stratospheric. And if people, one thing that kind of like, we normally tend to find that happens within any kind of challenging economic time is that the market kind of polarizes towards ultra luxury and then not so much ultra luxury, kind of like at the lower end of the market as well. But like in terms of staying competitive, because there's a lot of people who have got that strategy, like how do businesses stay competitive within that luxury market? And how do they remain authentic, and how do they retain loyalty within that very high-end echelon?
Sure. Well, lots of brilliant questions there, and I'll do my best to answer some of those. So I think for us, what we do is we very much believe it's important to stay in your swim lane, know what you're really good at, and stick to it. And whilst it's important to know what the competition is doing, it's not just about competition specifically within your own sector. In other words, for us, that would be other hotels, for example. It's looking at the wider sector, because it's actually the piece that connects all of us is the customer. And we believe very much you have to put the customer at the heart of everything that you do. And that means we look at who are the businesses that intersect with this customer. And if they're doing something really well, what can we learn from them? So, for us, we might look at Cartier, we might look at Hermes, we might look at Rolls-Royce, we might look at Ferrari, because these are businesses that our customers are enjoying the benefit of. So we have to really increase our range, is what I would say. And in terms of how do we maintain loyalty, for us, it's really about understanding the emotional needs of a guest. What is it that would drive them to choose us over another hotel brand if they're staying in one of the cities where we're present? And if we can really connect with them on an emotional level rather than on a functional level, because let's face it, we can all do functional. We can all, if we have the budgets, have the fancy trimmings, we can have the glorious china, the wonderful carpets, fixtures and fittings. But it's how we connect at a much more personal level that's the bit that makes the difference. And that's what increases loyalty. And if you can do that in one of the properties, then ultimately what we try and do is make sure that our guests will want to always be with our brand where we have a presence. And we're not everywhere, so there's only 10 of our hotels, but we hope that our guests will transfer across our brand as often as possible. So hopefully I've answered all of those questions.
No, I think that was really concise. Thank you very much for that. Obviously, people are a major part of kind of like, what you do, the whole strategy, that side of things. In terms of like, again, in the competitive market, how are you attracting, retaining, motivating those individuals to deliver that service?
Sure. So it really does mirror our guest journey, if you will, in terms of how we attract and retain and look after our employees. So what we've done is we've mapped out our guest journey in detail, and then we've said to ourselves, right, we need to have a corresponding employee journey and make sure that all of the key touch points along the way mirror our guest experience. And that means that we need to be ensuring we connect with our future employees even before they join us. And then when they do join us, we want to create really incredible experiences for them during their employment so that they want to stay, and moreover, that they want to provide those incredible experiences for our guests. So we work really, really hard across all of our teams and our wonderful leaders to be able to do that. And I think that's the piece that makes the difference. I suppose more recently, in terms of how do we reach an even bigger pool, we've been very much looking at ESG. We've been looking at our diversity and equity and inclusion, and what we can do to reach an even broader market, so that we're not just recruiting the same type of people over and over again, because as we know, everybody brings a richness, a healthy experience based on their own personal upbringings and experiences that they themselves have had. And we believe that that's really important because it adds colour to everything that we do within our hotels. And we want our team's personalities to shine through. And that's often the bit that really does connect with our guests as well. So we're working really hard to extend our reach as far as possible in that way.
Yeah. And I guess the bit that doesn't always marry 100% with that is the use of, because technology can sometimes introduce these barriers in between the guest experience, if done non-sympathetically. You know, how are you integrating technology? How are you guys using AI? Is that on your radar for kind of 2025? And how are you implementing that through the business?
Sure. So I guess like everyone, we all have to have technology. So for us, we use technology to allow us to spend more time with the guests. So if it's going to give us efficiencies, if it's going to make sure that we can enhance the experience, that's the purpose behind it. So there shouldn't be so the rationale is not to reduce headcount, for example, or to make sure that we're doing things faster. In fact, quite the opposite. If we can do things faster and more efficiently, then that allows us to spend more time enriching the conversations and connecting to our guests, which for us is far more valuable. So we see AI as an enhancement to the customer experience. Most recently, and just about 6 months ago in our business, we've introduced a learning management system. We're working with a wonderful company called Exonify, and we have implemented our new LMS across the business. We call it Lex. And this is an AI-driven tool that works on how quickly you are learning things yourself as an employee, to increase your own confidence. And if you are more confident and more knowledgeable, then it allows you to connect in a more efficient way and more effective way with your guests. So we're looking at those two areas at the moment to really help us elevate our experience with our guests. And then, of course, we have also been looking at our AI policy and having it as part of our strategy. And there's a big part of learning that we all need to do in terms of AI. So we're looking at what does that learning for us look like so that we can use AI in the most beneficial way for us across the business. Again, to make sure that we can enrich the time and experiences of our guests.
That's phenomenal, Beth. Beth, thank you so much for joining us today and running over things. I really appreciate it. I think you guys are going to have a great year in 2025 because all of these companies are obviously looking at ways to enhance their service levels and create something new. And that's exactly what you guys are amazing at doing. So, so very best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And to you too.